I'd like to talk to you today about male versus female depression and why it's important for everybody to know the different symptoms that men and women experience. Now, like most people, I had assumed that depression was the same for men and women, just like if you have a broken arm, it's going to be the same if you're a male or a female. But my understanding changed dramatically when my wife and I went to attend a family gathering for recovery. Let me explain what the situation was. Our son had been having problems with drug and alcohol abuse for a number of years and eventually decided to go into recovery and was at a really excellent treatment program. And the families were invited to come for a family visit to learn about what the program was like, what their children were experiencing, and a little bit more about addictions and how it affects families as well as individuals. Well, one of the things they did with the families was to give us each a depression questionnaire, because it was recognized that if you have addiction in your family, that it often increases depression in the family members. So my wife and I both took the quiz, and she scored high, indicating that she had depression, and I scored low, indicating that I didn't. Well, she came back after the family visit was over and went to a doctor and got evaluated fully. And sure enough, she was suffering from depression. She'd been feeling down for quite some time and got treatment, and things got better, and our relationship improved, her state of mind improved. And over time, she suggested maybe some of the things that were going on for me maybe could be understood better if I recognized I might have depression. But I was resistant. I said, wait a minute, I scored low on the depression test. I don't have depression. I said, well, maybe the tests are wrong. Well, that got me thinking. It took me a while, but I realized that how do you evaluate somebody for depression? You don't take a blood test, you ask questions. And if we're asking the wrong questions, we might get the wrong answers. In other words, if we list the symptoms associated with depression, if the symptoms are not accurate, we're going to get inaccurate results. And so I underwent my own kind of dark night of the soul to really look more deeply at my own issues. And eventually I went and saw a doctor and got evaluated. And in their mind, I really was depressed, but my symptoms were different than traditional symptoms. And I still got help. I took medications for a while, felt better, and everything improved in my life. And then I decided maybe there was something wrong about the way evaluations are done. And I went back and did a very in-depth research study that I got my PhD for, that I wrote up as the differences between male versus female depression. And what I found in summary was that their symptoms are different, that men tend to act out our unhappiness and depression through anger, irritability, alcohol use, and other acting out things, where women tend to act in their unhappiness. And those are the more traditional symptoms that we find of sadness, difficulty sleeping, losing interest in life's activities, and so on. So it really revolutionized my understanding, changed the way I work clinically with people. And what I found is that if we don't understand the different symptoms, we end up with two major problems. One is that men tend to be underdiagnosed and undertreated. Now, we all have some resistance to understanding that we might have a problem with depression. There's still a lot of stigma to being diagnosed with a mental health problem as opposed to a physical problem. But beyond that, I think part of the problem is we haven't understood male depression properly. And I ended up, like I do with my writings, I wrote a number of books where I talked about the differences between male and female depression. And it's really changed the whole field and really helped both men understand depression better, women understand male depression better, and also understand that women can have atypical symptoms that are not the standard symptoms. So this is important because so many people today are stressed and depressed and are not getting treatment or getting the wrong kind of treatment. So if this resonates at all with you, if you have anybody you're concerned about, yourself or somebody you love who may be suffering from depression, or you think they might have some problems that ought to be looked at in more depth, I want to offer you a really useful and helpful reflection and comparison between the way women and men tend to experience depression. So at the bottom of this video, if you'd like to get a copy of that, I'd very much like to send it to you. All the details are there and you can order it and we'll get it right out to you.